Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of the Halo Forge Epidemic. This is Psychoduck, and we are continuing with our series on how to set up all of the game modes in Halo 4. So we're going to be looking at both Oddball and King of the Hill right now. And you know, these are both very straightforward, very easy to set up game modes. And you guys should get the hang of it in no time. So we're going to just hop into Forge and I'll show you guys how to do it. Alright, so I'm just going to run you guys through how to set up Oddball and King of the Hill on your maps. We're going to start with Oddball, and of course we are on the Oddball Forge mode. So we're just going to get started here, and I'll show you how to do it. It's really simple, it'll take no time at all. And you know, that's why we're actually putting both of these together, because they're both so simple. It would be silly to do a separate video for each of them, but yeah, so this will be pretty simple. Just gotta wait through the loadout camera and all that fun stuff. Come on. There we go. Alright, so yeah, we'll just set up here. Of course, as far as spawning goes, you know, you're gonna need to have your spawn set up and all that, but you know, we have that spawning tutorial to show you guys how to do that, and you know, it's all really straightforward. So once you have your spawns down and the map plays Slayer, that's when you can start to actually set up Oddball. So you would go into objectives, you would take a flag stand, although I suppose you could use a hill marker if you wanted, but it looks cooler on a capture plate. So you know, and you would leave it neutral, and you know, true, game specific true, and Oddball Ball. Boom. There's your Oddball. Now you only really need one of these, but of course it would be recommended to have multiple ones so that you can't just go back and camp the only Oddball spawn. So what you would probably want to do is have kind of a neutral Oddball spawn in the middle of the map, and then you would use spawn sequence and set that to 1. So now this is going to be the first Oddball on the map. So at the beginning of the map, you know, say this is like in the dead center of the map, you know, it's the most neutral location. This is where the Oddball would spawn first. So then, you know, if you want, you know, secondary spawns, you can, you know, set it to spawn sequence of 2, you know, and you would go back to Oddball Ball, game specific true, and it's really that simple. And then, you know, it'll start to rotate through these multiple Oddball spawns, you know, spawn sequence 3, boom. It's that simple. Oddball, you know, really simple. And of course, you know, it's set up exactly the same as it has been in the past. What makes it stand out in this iteration is, you know, the new features like being able to throw the ball and whatnot, but that doesn't affect you in Forge. So now we're going to go into King of the Hill, and I'll show you how to do that really quick. It's you know, also very straightforward, very simple, and you know, similar in a lot of respects to Oddball. So yeah, just gotta wait for the menu to go, and blah 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 blah. Okay, King of the Hill. Start Forge, and here we go. Gotta wait through all the crap. At least the loadout, or the loading screen isn't as boring as the one in Reach was, but you know, whatever, not a whole lot we can do about that. Alright, so come on, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Alright, so now we are going to just do the same thing, and we are going to go once again into objectives, hill marker, and alright, so like with Oddball, you know, you're gonna want multiple locations. In King of the Hill, it's even more important. And then, you know, of course you can set, you don't have to set spawn sequences on them, but I would recommend it, because, you know, it would, you know, so you can actually rotate through the hills, although of course if you want them to go randomly, that's fine also. So you know, you leave it neutral, you change your boundaries. These are of course going to be the boundaries of the hill. You know, you probably want them tall enough that you can't just like jump right over it. You probably want it pretty decent size. And of course, if you pay attention to other King of the Hill maps, or maps that you play King of the Hill on, it's pretty straightforward to see how big you want to make those. But then so this is spawn sequence 1. So say this goes in the dead center of the map, the most neutral location. Again, that'll be the first hill, and then it can rotate over to here. Spawn sequence 2, game specific true. And King of the Hill. Now, of course, with hill markers, you don't actually have to set them to game specific true, because they're not going to be visible in any other game modes, and they're not going to screw with anything. But I guess that's up to you. I'm not sure if 343 sets those to game specific true or not. I know Bungie would tend not to set their hill markers to be game specific true, but it's not a it's not a big deal. So and then you just go about, you set up hills. You might want you probably want either 3 or 5 hills, depending on exactly how you want to do it. You probably don't want much more than that. So spawn sequence 3, game specific true, King of the Hill, and yeah, that's pretty much how you set up King of the Hill and Oddball. They're both pretty straightforward, and again, you'll also need to know how to set up your ordnance drops and your spawns, so we have tutorials on those also, which I would highly recommend checking out. And of course, we are continuing with all of the game modes in Halo 4 and how to set them all up, as well as other forging tutorials, contests, map features, etc. So stay tuned. I hope you guys have found this helpful, and I'll talk to you guys next time. Bye bye.